Do you have a hard time getting close to people? Are you terrified of commitment? Or perhaps you find yourself clinging onto partners, desperate for reassurance. If these thoughts sound familiar, you're not alone, and your childhood might have a lot to do with it. In this video, we'll talk about the 3 different attachment styles that might explain why you have trouble in relationships. The idea of attachment styles was first introduced by John Bowlby, who believed that our early experiences with caregivers shape how we relate to others later in life. Our attachment figures, usually our parents or early caregivers, provide a template for how we view the world and our place in it. And the quality of those relationships can impact how we behave in romantic relationships, friendships, and even how we interact with strangers. So what are these attachment styles? Well, let's start with the anxious attachment style. People with an anxious attachment tend to crave closeness and intimacy in relationships. You're someone who falls in love easily, but you also worry a lot about your relationships. You tend to feel deeply and intensely, which means you can experience great joy, but also deep despair when things don't go your way. Perhaps you feel a strong need to be in a relationship and worrying about being on your own. You might find yourself constantly seeking reassurance from your partner, wanting them to continuously tell you that they love you and that they're not going anywhere. But despite all your efforts, you still feel a sense of foreboding that something will happen to push them away. This constant anxiety can cause you to act in ways that push the other person away, like getting overly attached or coming on too strong in the beginning. Ironically, this creates the very thing you fear the most: abandonment or rejection. Next, we have the avoidant attachment style. Unlike those with an anxious attachment, you find it difficult to trust and get close to people. You prefer to keep your distance and avoid getting too emotionally involved. Perhaps you have a fear of commitment or find it difficult to rely on others, preferring instead to be self-sufficient and in control of your own life. You might push people away to protect yourself from getting hurt and think it's always better to leave before you left. The idea of love and romance may seem corny and overblown. You value your independence too much to jeopardize that by getting into a committed relationship. As a result, you might find yourself in a cycle of short, meaningless flings that never really satisfy you because you never let anyone in. And then there's the secure attachment style. People with a secure attachment have the best of both worlds, a healthy balance between being able to get close to people and maintain a sense of independence. They feel comfortable with intimacy and trust and are open to the idea of commitment. You know that relationships require work, but you're willing to put in the effort. Why? Because the rewards of love and companionship outweigh the costs. If you're secure, you probably have a positive self-image and healthy self-esteem. You're able to express your emotions and feel comfortable both being in a relationship and on your own. Now, if you're thinking, great, I'm definitely a mix of all 3, you're not alone. Attachment styles aren't absolute categories, but rather a spectrum. Most of us fall somewhere in the middle, and while our attachment styles might make us more prone to certain relationship behaviors, they don't determine our future. If you have an anxious or avoidant attachment, it doesn't mean you're doomed to a lifetime of failed relationships. With self-awareness and effort, you can learn to recognize your attachment style and work toward developing more secure attachments. So what can you do if you have an anxious attachment? One great tip is to focus on building a strong friendship with your partner before jumping into a romantic relationship. If you tend to get overly attached or feel the need to escalate things quickly, take a step back and ask yourself, is this really necessary? Another helpful strategy is to communicate your needs directly instead of relying on your partner to read your mind. Anxious people often worry about abandonment or rejection, so it can be helpful to have a frank discussion about your concerns with your partner. By taking these steps, you can create a more secure foundation for your relationship and prevent it from quickly turning into a disaster. For those with an avoidant attachment, learning to trust and get close to people might require some time and patience. Start by taking small steps like being open to meeting new people and engaging with them on an emotional level. Ask yourself, what makes me feel uncomfortable about getting close to people? By understanding the root of your discomfort, you can work towards overcoming it. Remember, it's okay to take things slowly and be honest about your feelings with your partner. If you're somewhere in the middle, congratulations! You already have a head start towards creating secure attachments. Continue to nurture your relationships, communicate openly and honestly, and remember that every relationship is unique and requires its own special attention. So what are your thoughts about attachment styles? Did it help to hear about other people who struggle with similar relationship issues? Remember, no matter what your attachment style, every relationship is an opportunity for growth and learning. So go out there, be brave, and create the loving connections you deserve.